What's going on, everybody? Welcome, everyone, to the Best of, Worst of, the podcast where we take the bad with the good in the world of pop culture. My name is Jason, and joining me today, the perfect man to lead this country, whether it was an alien invasion or an asteroid disaster, because of his square jaw, his sultry voice, and most of all, the way he looks in a bomber jacket. My co-host, Jesse.
I was going to say, you already introduced yourself, Jason.
No.
You don't have to. I wish I could pull off a bomber jacket.
You definitely could. You cut a figure no matter what you're wearing.
Oh, well, thank you.
I cut quite a different figure.
Yeah. I feel like you're about to give me some bad news or something. And for the record, I would take... you don't take Alien Invasion, right? That's the fun one. That's the fun crisis. You don't want to... Asteroids aren't fun.
Asteroids aren't fun. I don't think either one's fun. Which one's easier to escape? An asteroid... you could go to the other side of the Earth from where it would hit, and you could hope for the best.
Yeah.
If aliens are coming,
yeah, but at least you get the knowledge that if I'm going to pick a way to go, okay, I want to get disintegrated by aliens. Like, what a crazy thing! Like, who would have thought this is how it ends? Versus a big rock hit the Earth. I got killed by the same way the old. The chicken ancestors did.
The chicken ancestors.
Dinosaurs is what
the dinosaurs.
More commonly known as dinosaurs.
Yes, those pre-avian beings.
Yes. Yes. For today's episode, Jason and I are on the campaign trail, but instead of offering empty promises and kissing babies, despite the outbreak of the coronavirus, we're talking the best and worst of fictional movie presidents.
Yes, we want to be clear here. Fictional movie presidents. Yes. My favorite, Home Alone 2. No, I'm joking. Okay, somebody will get that reference.
Yes.
No, fictional movie presidents. We want to be clear. This is not about portrayals of real presidents.
Yeah. No Daniel Day-Lewis as Lincoln.
No, absolutely not.
No Robin Williams as Teddy Roosevelt.
Nope. No Anthony Hopkins as Nixon.
Yes. No Frank Langella, how do you say his name?
Langella as Skeletor. None of those.
Otherwise known as Richard Nixon.
That's right. None of those wonderful portrayals. We're going to focus on everybody's favorite fictional presidents.
No Greg Kinnear as JFK.
That was a really good Bostonian. Oh, man, I liked it.
He's got the perfect name to say it, though.
Yes.
No, specifically, we are looking at fictional movie presidents according to the results of a user poll done by Fandango.com. We're looking at the fictional president's effectiveness as a president, not the performance or the quality of the movie.
No, we're not talking about who gave the best performance in the role. This could be a horrible movie, and still be considered. We're wanting to look at were this person to actually hold office, right? And that was the basis of the poll.
Yes. Example: consistently, if you look across the internet at these different user lists and a list of best movie presidents, who do you want as your movie president, that kind of thing. Morgan Freeman ranks near the top for Deep Impact, which is critically not a good movie. No. I love it, and we're going to do Disaster Flicks later this year, I believe.
Sure.
And that one will come up, because I love Deep Impact. And he is a great movie president. But that movie is like a 35% on Rotten Tomatoes, but he is always near the top for that president.
Yes. Now, I'm trying to think of my of a good, like a president that does good in a bad. I mean, maybe is it Morgan Freeman again in the Olympus Has Fallen movies?
Yes. Yeah.
So again, I think he's pretty effective.
Yeah.
But I think the movies are pretty garbage.
Yeah, the first one's kind of fun.
The first one's fun.
Yeah. Olympus is, because there's White House Down, which is
White House
Jamie
Down
Foxx.
is Jamie Foxx.
Yes.
But it's another instance.
The White House Down is who? That's Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum is the
action hero.
The action hero.
Yeah, I like
it's Gerard Butler.
They've made a whole franchise out of those movies now.
The Olympus Has Fallen is now 3 deep.
Yeah.
White House Down was a one and done.
Yeah.
But
London Has Fallen.
Yes, and then
Angel Has
Fallen. It's
Which is assuming that you have the knowledge of those movies to know that Gerard Butler's character's name is Angel.
Oh, really?
That's what it's talking about, I think.
Oh, I didn't know
I think
that.
his name's like Nicholas Angel or something. Well,
that is a terrible name.
That's Simon Pegg's name in Hot Fuzz.
Oh, no.
Which is an all-time great movie.
You know what? That's the most recent example of Hollywood greenlighting the exact same script within a same year timeline.
Yeah, our younger listeners may not realize that this was a thing.
Oh, it's been a major thing, and I can think just in my lifetime.
Yeah.
You had Dante's Peak and Volcano in the same year.
This was common. You had Deep Impact and Armageddon.
Yes.
You
had same year.
Ants and Bugs Life.
Yes.
This was not uncommon for one studio to hear about another movie in the works and to do their own version of that movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now,
what a time.
Now you have a similar thing, except for there are these B-movie director Redbox that have a similar title.
Yeah, they call them mockbusters.
Mockbusters.
They're frequently made by a company called The Asylum.
Oh, really?
So Transformers coming out? We got Transmorphers now, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
They love when they do one. I can tell, like, they get so excited when they do something that's like, it's not a trademark name like Indiana Jones. So, like San Andreas, that disaster movie,
right?
They did one that's called San Andreas Fault. So, like, they can use the same words. They love those.
Yeah, and then they're going to get your aunt,
who
just goes to Redbox and was like, "Oh, I remember seeing that. Yeah. Why is she so elderly?" But she's like, "I remember seeing that. I love watching Red."
Jason likes robots. Look at these Transmorphers movies. Anyway,
that's a good granny voice.
I have a good grandpa, but it's more like a Jewish grandpa.
Okay,
it's what it is. It's an impression of the grandpa from Rugrats, who was Jewish, and he was always talking about borscht and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Tommy, go eat your borscht.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Man, you're so much better at that than I. That
leads us into our favorite segment.
Would that be Fun Facts? I don't know what I was doing.
Yes, that's Fun Facts. There we go.
Oh, we should do an entire episode in Grandpa voice.
I'll do the whole Fun Facts section in Grandpa.
Oh,
Wikipedia list actor Oscar. I'm turning into Bernie Sanders. What's happening? I'm starting to do the hand motions. Anyway, Wikipedia lists actor Oscar Apfel as Apfel, maybe, as the first fictional president in film in 1932's A Successful Calamity.
It sounds like 22 skidoo. That's a successful calamity. That's the way you have to say it.
That sounds like a Will Forte character is what that sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the first one.
Okay.
There have been quite a few, and it really ramps up once you get to the 80s. We start getting a lot of fictional presidents in the 80s.
Well, as soon as the disaster movie,
Cold War.
Yes, it all ramps. I mean, it just...
A lot of fictional.
Yes.
Everything before that, you had more actual portrayals of presidents.
Biographical.
So, why don't you give us the next one?
All right. 2 actors, Jess, have been nominated for an Oscar for playing a fictional president. Only 2.
That's crazy. Okay, that's crazy.
Yep. Well, you think of how many there are. They're
usually not in very good movies. I will say that.
I think that's not critically acclaimed movies. I think you could still argue that they could be good.
I think you also have to look at what kind of movie asks for a fictional president. It's disaster movies and action flicks.
Yes. Pardon my cough.
You occasionally get romances and some dramas.
Sure.
But for the most part, I'd be willing to bet 70% of movies with fictional presidents are action movies or disaster movies.
Yes, so one of these surprised me.
Okay.
Because I thought I was going to guess who what one of these was.
Hey, you knocked it out of the park in the Pixar episode.
Yes. Well, we had Peter Sellers in 1964 as President Merkin Muffy. That's a name that I'm not going to get into right now. In Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. I've yet to see this.
Me either.
I know about it. I need to see it.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah,
Peter Sellers plays 3 characters.
Yeah, and he's got Slim Pickens rides the bomb and all that stuff. Like, there's some stuff that's like you literally like Broncos a bomb or a bomb or something.
Yeah,
there's some stuff that's kind of in the zeitgeist, but yeah,
I'm aware of it. I can picture him and the glasses and the whole thing, but a
lot of like sinister men sitting around a big table.
Yes, yeah, that's what I picture. But.
Yes, he was
See,
nominated.
Peter Sellers, when he was nominated. Peter Sellers, when I think of Peter Sellers, I think of the Pink Panther movies.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I don't think of this. And also, a movie I've never heard of, 2001's The Contender, starring Jeff Bridges as President Jackson Evans.
Great president name.
You think
really
so?
Really great president name. That's one thing I've noticed in researching these. You have to have a good presidential name. Merkin Muffy, not
Merkin Muffy, not a good name.
Thomas Evans. A lot of Thomases. Thomas Beck, which is Morgan Freeman's.
Yes.
What's his name? What's Independence Day? Bill Pullman characters. What's his character's name?
I don't know.
Thomas Whitmore. Another Thomas. A lot of Thomases because that's an all-American name. Thomas Jefferson. You ever heard of him?
Yeah, is that why this one is Jackson Evans after Andrew Jackson?
Yeah, our most genocidal president.
Yes, a lot of Andrews.
Yes,
in his
Thomas Andrews. Boom! There's your next movie president.
Oh man,
Andrew Thomas.
Oh no, we just wrote 2 movie names.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie. Never heard of it. I do love Jeff Bridges, and if he's getting nominated for Oscars for it, he must have been pretty good.
I do like Jeff Bridges. Is this before he started talking as if his mouth is full of marbles?
Has he not always done that? What are you talking about, man? I can't
He's
do it.
really leaned into it the last 6 or 8 years. I'm pretty sure he had an abscess that he just never got corrected.
Every time I hear or try to do a Jeff Bridges voice, I end up trying to do Dana Carvey doing Jeff Bridges, which his Dana Carvey's is pretty funny. It's over the top. But it's that he always plays him that he's always full and he's always really happy about being alive. Like, he's always full of meat and food.
Okay.
And he's always really happy. So he's like, we're alive, man! Like, it's stuff like that. We're alive! Like, it's anyway.
I love Jeff Bridges.
I do too.
He's really good.
Speaking of fictional portrayals, no actor to date has portrayed a different president in more than 3 feature films. So I was trying to look at this and pull a name. There's been a lot of them.
More than a different president. 3 different presidents.
Yes.
Because Morgan Freeman now has done 2 across 4 movies.
2 across 3. I guess he's not in one of those.
Oh,
movies,
okay.
I think. Well, or this.
Who knows?
An older stat, but he's played 2 presidents.
Yes,
maybe 4 times.
Yeah.
There have been actors who've played the same president. There was an actor back in the day who played Teddy Roosevelt 4 times. If we're talking just presidents in general,
right?
Most of the ones that have 3 are guys that look presidential and they play the president in a random sci-fi movie. And they're just the president. They don't even have a name.
They don't have a name. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's most of what you see. But
yeah, I agree. So what's your favorite portrayal? You kind of already alluded to this.
I stepped on all over points earlier. So let's just end the episode. Thank you guys for listening.
All right.
Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact as Thomas Beck, and Bill Pullman as Thomas Whitmore in Independence Day, or ID4, if you want to call it that.
I don't like
I don't
that
either.
At all. I think those are both great choices.
Great portrayals. Because they're leading a country in the face of calamity, a successful calamity, but calamity nonetheless. Morgan Freeman specifically, a lot of pathos in his pathos. Is that the word? Ethos? I don't know the difference. I'm trying to sound smart. Pathos Bill. Anyway, a lot of emotion in his portrayal as Thomas Beck, because if you recall in Deep Impact, spoiler for Deep Impact,
I've only seen it once.
It's a giant asteroid about to hit the Earth. Meteorite.
Yes.
Meteor about to hit the Earth. Asteroid, meteor, once it's about, I think it's, when it's in our atmosphere, it's a meteor now. It's the size of Texas or something. So their plan is to blow up the asteroid, the meteorite.
With miners. I remember seeing this.
This is Armageddon.
Oh!
See? Deep Impact way better.
Yes.
They try to blow it up, and they end up splitting it in 2.
So now twice the damage.
So now there's 2 asteroids. Smaller, one's still very big, one's smaller. One of them hits and causes an incredible amount of damage.
Spoiler alert.
I said spoiler. The movie's 25 years old.
That's right.
But Morgan Freeman is at one point in that movie, it looks like all is lost, and that's what his president gets to do. Bill Pullman's getting to like fly jet planes and really be acting.
Yeah,
as
he's doing
a heroic president. Morgan
Yes.
Freeman's just kind of like he's got to calm everyone down and be like,
Right.
"Hey, we're all gonna die, but God bless."
Right. I think I don't remember that movie very much. I think I'm much more in the Bill Pullman as Thomas Whitmore standing with his knee up in the air atop some boxes or cases on the outskirts of an Air Force base in Roswell.
Yeah. In a bomber jacket.
In a bomber jacket,
Now
just
that's someone pulled up a bomber jacket.
letting know what for. Right?
I got one problem with the Thomas Whitmore portrayal of Bill Pullman. This isn't his fault.
Okay.
Famous speech at the end of the movie, or towards the end of the movie, he gives that famous rousing speech, rouses the troops, that ends with the line, "Today we celebrate our Independence Day." Mm-hmm. Too much day in that sentence. I feel like the sentence would have been better. Today we celebrate our independence. Today we celebrate our Independence Day. See?
That's all right. So, a comedian that I listen to frequently, Adam Carolla, has this idea of movies where they had the title of the movie before they filmed a minute, before they ever wrote a script.
Right.
I think Independence Day is one of those where it's like, now we've got to work it into the script.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did.
We can call it ID4.
No, you cannot call it
much
ID4.
later.
It did. My favorite,
Yes.
hands down,
I didn't ask
my go-to. I don't care. You're going to find out. My favorite is another Andrew.
Oh.
Andrew Shepard, played by Michael Douglas in
one.
The American President. This is the one I thought for sure had been nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
This movie, Annette Bening, this was probably one of the first romantic comedy type things that I had ever encountered with. I was 14 or 15 years old.
I want to do a correction from a couple episodes ago, a few episodes ago. Football movies. We
Yes.
talked about our mutual crush on Becky the Icebox O'Shea from the movie Little Giants.
Yes.
She's played by a woman named Shauna Waldron, who I said was John Travolta's daughter in Primary Colors. She was Michael Douglas's daughter in
This American President. Not This American
This
President.
American President with Ira Glass.
That's right.
Yeah. The American President, yes.
Yeah, I love this movie.
I feel bad. I'm carrying that with me for weeks now.
We need a bachelor in the White House.
Yeah.
I think that was the premise of this whole thing. Was like, oh, he's looking for love, and
all the wrong places.
Well, it wasn't that. That was anyway. Also, what's weird is there were two very different movies came out the same time.
Yeah.
You had The American President, and you had Dave. Within like, there were two like kooky American President. Either it's this, widower, or it's twin brothers,
right?
Or whatever it was, separated at birth.
Right.
I don't remember Dave, but I remember loving Kevin Kline. I think he's a treasure.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I'm
sure.
I just want to throw out a few honorable mentions.
Yes.
This will trim the list for those of you playing along at home and thinking, well, they've talked about those two. I bet they're not on the list.
Yes.
So some more honorable mentions. I think this guy is very presidential.
Yes.
Mr. Bruce Greenwood, who is in National Treasure and Kingsman, plays fictional presidents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's in two different movies where he plays American presidents.
In these Star Trek movies, correct? He plays Commander Pike. Is that Bruce Greenwood?
Yes.
He's in Gerald's Game?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's him.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Bruce Greenwood. Excellent. Yeah. He's in 13 Days.
Strong president.
He plays John Kennedy in 13.
John Kennedy.
13. Is it 13 Days? 13 Hours. It's that very, very long Kevin Costner movie about the Bay of Pigs. It's not
Draft
enjoyable.
Day. You're thinking of Draft Day.
No, I'm not. But another one, obviously Morgan Freeman, we already talked about. Gene Hackman in his final role. A final filmed role, played a president, a retired president, in Welcome to Mooseport with, who was his co-star? Ray Romano.
Yeah. No. Yeah, Gene. No.
Yes. Okay. He also played a president in Absolute Power, a movie I've never heard of. So a couple of honorable mentions there.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
I think there's
Jack Nicholson.
Nicholson in Mars Attacks.
Yeah, that's a good one. My favorite, we will discuss in our worst stuff section. I think it's my favorite. I think that's.
I think he probably is. he might be all of our favorites. We're going to hop in with best of.
This guy was unanimously
best of. Across the board. Yeah. All right, so this character is played by Harrison Ford. This comes in a string of wonderful Harrison Ford movies. I don't think he made a misstep from like 1985's
intense pointing.
Yes, from 1985's Witness until maybe 1990. Well, this is after that. With Sabrina's 95. Maybe till this. There's a good 10, 12-year run where I don't think he made a misstep.
Yeah.
I think every movie he made was fantastic.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford playing President James Marshall.
See,
it's an excellent name. In 1997's Air Force One. This movie, directed by Wolfgang Peterson, was released on July 25th, 1997. I remember it well.
July, the most American month of the year.
The most. Now, the first thing I wanted to look up was if it was released on a Friday on July 25th, 3 weeks earlier would have been 21 days earlier, July 4th. How don't you put a presidential movie out on July 4th?
Yeah, I know.
Now, did 1997, is that when Independence Day came out?
I think 96.
Okay, all right. So I wasn't looking at that. I remember this well because I remember being at the beach right after this opened, and I remember going to the movies twice that week. I saw this movie twice. I loved this movie. It's just a fantastic movie.
I remember when it came out, it was a big deal.
It absolutely was.
Our dads are of the same generation.
Sure.
Yeah. Mine's towards your dad was a boomer. Was he silent generation?
My dad was born in 43.
Okay, so he was pre-boomer. So my dad's a boomer.
Okay.
A baby boomer. I don't know. I think the term boomer is getting overplayed at this point.
Okay, boomer.
I've been calling my dad a boomer for years before it was cool. I promise. My dad's a baby boomer. Air Force One is a dad movie.
Oh, this is a dad film.
It leans right wing.
It does.
Yep.
It does. No,
which is not. If you are left leaning liberal, don't let that sour this movie for you.
Not at all.
It's the good parts of the
It's the good part. That's right.
Yeah.
It's anti-Russian.
Yeah.
It has right leads right into dad territory.
Yeah.
It has guns and violence and very fun catchphrases type things. Yeah, this is dad movie all over.
Me and my wife rewatched it because I hadn't seen this movie since it came out. Probably I remember my dad loving this movie.
Okay.
His line at the end. Get off my plane.
Yeah.
And I literally out loud said, there's the one-liner.
Yes.
You've been waiting for it the whole movie. It's so good. Gary Oldman, fantastic
Gary Oldman,
in this movie.
This is the first time I ever saw...
It's an intense movie.
Yes.
Really horrific stuff happens in this movie.
Terrible things happen.
Yeah.
It's a reason it's rated R.
Executions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just flat out. Just super intense.
Like in a movie that didn't want to commit to the evilness of that character.
Yes.
They would have had him, he would have fired them. We're talking about the really sad execution scene in the movie.
Right.
You would have heard the gunshot fire, and then you're like, oh, no, wow. And then it cuts, and he's shot right by her head, and he's like, you have one more minute, or something like that.
Sure.
And he would have saved. Nope.
Absolutely. No. There's
an innocent woman.
Absolutely.
It's horrible.
It is absolutely horrible.
Wow. Fairly hard R.
Really?
There's some F-bombs. There's some pretty overt violence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe it's PG-13.
Is that why I had to go with my uncle? No, it's R-rated.
Okay.
Maybe that's why I had to go to the movies with my uncle that summer. I don't think I was 17. I remember him going with me.
Yeah. Uncle movie.
This is an uncle movie, hands down. Yeah. Especially if Dad were to say no for any reason, Uncle's got you.
Yeah.
So this is made back in the 90s when you could make a movie like this for $85 million. Yeah. You can't make anything for $85 million anymore.
Yeah.
And
there's some outside shots of the plane that look pretty bad. There's some bad CG, but not bad.
But it was the 90s,
just dated. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, it's just fantastic. I want to give you a little bit of James Marshall's bio. I'm sorry. President James Marshall's bio. You're right. How about this? How does this stick in your craw for what you want in an American president? Yes. Air Force helicopter pilot in Vietnam. You got to say it that way. Medal of Honor recipient. I don't know where they made this stuff up. I found it online.
He's progressive.
He's progressive because he's got a female vice president.
Played by Glenn Close.
Oh, she's excellent.
Wonderful.
Glenn Close, excellent in this. And you know what party he's in? It doesn't matter. He's kicking butt and taking names.
Right.
That's what party he belongs to.
He likes football. He's an everyman. He's just wanting to watch the game on Air Force One.
That's all he wants to do.
He's drinking a beer at one scene.
Yes.
You know?
He is an everyman. He has no party. He is neither right nor left.
Loosens his tie.
You know what party is? American.
Yes.
That's what
all should be. He's a great...
He's excellent.
Like indistinguishable like party other than again his party is strength. That's what
it.
He is.
That's
he's not
exactly what
he's
it
not
is.
Problem. He's strength. That's all it is.
Yes. I remember the opening. This is when I learned the word rhetoric.
Yeah.
Because in the opening,
what a dad word.
It's such a dad word. Yes, rhetoric. All right. So some of his best attributes and moments. Let's talk about what makes him such a great president.
Yes.
Heroism.
His opinions on tax law.
No, not his opinions. His opinions on foreign policy. Yes.
Yeah. Shoot him.
Yeah.
Yourself.
No, his heroism. So he had a chance to escape.
Yeah.
Had a chance to get off, but stayed on the plane.
And that's a reveal in the movie that surprised no one.
No.
But still, it was a nice moment. Nice payoff.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time down in the galley.
Yeah.
Right? And setting traps.
Makes
and
some difficult choices, though. He has to let that one woman get killed.
Yes.
Tough.
Has to. Very tough choices. He's a smart guy. Got a lot of knowledge. He ordered the fighter jets to fire on Air Force One, knowing that it would take evasive maneuvers on its own. So not just a guy who's along for the ride trying to watch the game, even though he's
been in the trenches.
But he's been in the trenches, and he knows what it takes, and he knows the capabilities. He understands the
practicality.
The practicality, absolutely. He's ingenious. He's got a lot of ingenuity. He orchestrates that fuel dump, right? So that they have to refuel midair, which allows the escape to happen out the back.
Boom. Beautiful.
Unbelievable.
Beautiful.
Yes.
What were any of our presidents doing?
I don't know. What do you want, Millard Fillmore? Right. You think Millard Fillmore's capable of this nonsense? Do you think he could
get air balloon down?
Do you think he could? Do you think he could execute an evacuation off of a stagecoach?
Yes.
Do you think that could have happened? By the way, Millard Fillmore, I think, famously, whatever they had then, raced whatever they had, horse and buggy, I guess.
I think the horse had been invented. Yeah.
You think the horse was invented?
I think so.
Well, they had some high-speed tires.
Yeah.
On those buggies. Anyway.
He's got brute strength.
Brute strength. He overpowers Agent Gibbs in the final moments and secures that zip
Again,
line
another
escape.
twist that surprised nobody.
There
were so many lingering shots of him looking at terrorists.
Oh yeah. No. Absolutely a twist that is given away. Yeah. But it's excellent. Excellent bad guy. I'm trying to think of that guy's name, but he's an excellent bad guy.
Yeah.
Also, isn't in this one of the henchmen is the Russian guy that's been in every. If you saw him, you'd know him. He's.
I think of him from Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
3.
Yes.
Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
And 2. I think he's in both of them.
Right.
He plays Peter's landlord. The Tobey Maguire one.
Peter's landlord. Yes. He's played every Russian guy.
That's one of my favorite lines where he's trying to give Peter some love advice. And
right.
The third one. And he says, you go to her, you say, you are a man. Or I am man, you are a woman. And he just kind of like, and there it is.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah, that's how it works.
Yes.
Right.
Anyway.
And last, vocal intonation. What does he yell at the end?
Get off my plane.
That's a good Ford.
A little more Clinton Eastwood.
Smolding Harrison Ford is, my kids are getting introduced to these movies now.
Yeah.
And just absolutely in love. We just watched The Fugitive.
Yep.
They just love
it's a great movie.
Oh, he's excellent.
Another dad movie. We went to saw Onward, took our son, and we always take a picture of him in front of the movie poster we're going to see. And he saw the poster for Call of the Wild, which is Harrison Ford's 83-year-old, however old he is. How old is he? 78, 79, 80?
He's
80-year-old,
80.
handsome face, and a great beard.
Yes.
Toboggan on, looking disheveled, looking great.
Yes.
And my son said, "Hey, it's Han Solo." It's like, yeah,
that's
good
good.
for you, Harrison.
That's good. I think of him as Indiana Jones first, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway,
I will say on record, I like Indiana Jones better than Han Solo.
yes,
I love Indiana Jones. I need
Indiana
to rewatch
Jones
him.
is excellent.
Yeah.
I was going to pose this question. You go to the ballot box, and James Marshall's on the ballot. You voting for him?
I'm going to vote for him so hard that I'm going to carve his name into the desk that I'm pressing on. I'm writing his name in past his second term.
Yes, I'm voting for him every day and twice on Sunday.
Yep. I'm voting for him for class president.
That's exactly right. I'm voting him for emperor. Is he reelectable?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you even realize what his approval rating would be?
It's insane. It breaks the meter.
Yeah.
You ever seen where the meter hits past 100 and the arrow just falls off and just spins?
Shatters.
Yeah. No, that's his approval rating.
Yeah.
How about, you think he's reelectable? How about this? How about repeal the 22nd Amendment and install the title of President Emeritus? How about that level of amazing?
Did you just Latin joke us?
I just Latin joked you. Yes, I did. That's President James Marshall. I'm having fun with this.
Jimmy Marshall. See, that's the good,
never Jimmy Marshall.
That's the good thing about that name. He's got a nice folksy name too.
He has a folksy name.
James Marshall, too fancy for you? I'm Jimmy to my buddies.
Okay. You know what? You're right.
Thomas Beck, too fancy for you? Call me Tom.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is why, right? And you need that.
Yeah.
You need that play. It's why the Friends called him Barry, not Barack.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. That's why George Bush's friends called him Georgie.
They called him W.
Called him W. Anyway.
Yeah.
And that's
Bill's,
the best stuff.
Bill's friends just I don't know what I was going to go with there. I can't do a Bill Clinton, but
Bill Clinton.
You can't. You sure can do it.
You have to do it with the hand.
You have to.
I'm slipping in the
only way. It's the only way to do it. Why are we doing real presidents?
I don't know.
This is fake presidents.
Fake presidents. Well, let's talk about my favorite fake president and the worst of in this episode, strictly in terms of presidential performance.
Presidential performance, yes.
Although I'm going to make some compelling arguments why he's not a bad president, given the circumstances.
I'd love to hear them.
Those circumstances are a man and a woman are cryogenically frozen in a military experiment, only to be awakened after a series of mishaps 500 years after the start of their experiment, now in a world that is devolved by its incredible and self-inflicted stupidity.
Wow.
These now very average test subjects, played by Luke Wilson and Maya Rudolph, are the smartest people in the world, and they must figure out how to get home, but not before saving the world. I am, of course, referring to the movie Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
An all-timer.
It is an all-time great movie. I had never heard of this until maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. Or maybe 5 years ago.
I remember being excited for it when it came out. Because I was in my senior year of high school, and it was... you were refinancing your summer home.
My first grandchild was due that summer.
I remember being really jazzed about it. It's so the movie's directed by Mike and written by Mike Judge, who is famous for creating Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill, and of course the other all-timer, Office Space, which is
another all-timer on the movie. I'm going to throw this out there too. Silicon Valley on HBO.
I'll see that.
Mike Judge created that.
Really?
Underratedly hilarious.
I did not know that.
Yep.
He's a brilliant comedic mind. The movie came out on September 1st, 2006, after a storied post-production that saw a lot of issues with it getting released, a lot of issues with Fox Studios, I guess 20th Century Fox, not knowing what to do with this movie. So, again, the movie...
How do you market it?
Yeah, they didn't know how to market it. They were banking on, and Mike Judge has said as much, they were banking on this movie failing and becoming a cult classic. And that's exactly what it did, because that's what happened kind of with Office Space.
Right.
So he set out to make the movie that he wanted to.
Is Luke Wilson not a bankable star at this time? Is this after Old School, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is the same year as Cars coming out, so the American audience can only handle one Wilson brother.
Oh, I got you.
Wow. That's the one we like.
Right.
So, yeah, the movie is an indictment of consumerism and the modern American basically ruining the country.
World. Ruining the country.
Ruining the world. Yeah. That's more apt. The premise being that people of lower intelligence are procreating at a higher rate because the people who are more financially responsible and intelligent aren't having as many kids because they understand the complexities of it. They take proper birth control and all this. At its worst, this movie gets accused of endorsing eugenics.
Yes.
I think that's being a little hyperbolic.
I agree.
It's a comedy. And it's a comedy that I think has now become a cult classic because it has been prophetic sound is hyperbolic, but
it's prescient.
Yes. It's become much more relevant in today's times.
Absolutely.
14 years later?
Yeah, the idea of celebrity in politics.
Yeah.
Is a big part of this.
And that's regardless of how you feel, what your party affiliation is, of how you feel about the current state of politics. You've got Kanye West talking about running for president. You've got The Rock talking about running for president.
Yes.
You've got Donald Trump as president, a man who frequently appeared on WWF, WWE wrestling there for a moment.
You even have
a reality star. It's just this idea of the celebrity of the president.
It is. And honestly, like Michael Bloomberg is more celebrity than he is politician, honestly. A handful. Oprah's always mentioned all the time.
Yeah,
not that she ever would, but this is where we're at now. Bankable, name I remember.
Right.
And somebody
what we need are peanut farmers like Jimmy Carter.
Is that it?
James Carter.
Okay.
James Carter.
James Carter's not a bad name.
That is a good one. Yeah, see? But he got Jimmy.
If
you need the folksy name, you got Jimmy. So this movie's a 76 on Rotten Tomatoes. The
Not
movie
too bad.
made just $495,000 on a $3 million budget.
Oh my goodness.
Judge blames this on poor test screenings and a subsequent lack of marketing from Fox. Like I said, the studio was banking on it being a cult classic. That worked out because it has ultimately achieved, since coming out on DVD in January of 2007, $9 million in DVD sales.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's made its budget back and then some. Now, all of that is to say, and again, if you have not seen Idiocracy, go check it out.
Do yourself a favor. In fact, I'm looking it up right now to see where is it streaming.
The CG is a little dated, not great, but this is such a clever movie, and honestly, and this isn't me trying to be on my high horse and saying, like, I'm not saying, this movie's, it's a smart movie. It is a smart movie. But there are things that I do, and I'm like, that's a Idiocracy thing.
Yeah.
Like, I watched fail videos for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's
on
an
Saturday
Idiocracy
of
thing.
just, like, people getting hit in the face with baseballs and stuff, and it's like, that's, all of that it talks about that culture of us watching Jackass movies. And
that's it.
And I am victim to it too. But man, it makes you think about a lot of things.
It sure does. By the way, if you're a DirecTV subscriber or a Cinemax Max Go subscriber, it is available to you. If you want to rent it, there's a handful of places where it's $2.99, $3.99, a pretty cheap rental that you can grab across the board. And I'd say this is worth the $3.
Yeah, it's great. It is really worth it. If for no other reason, for its president.
Yes.
The president of this movie is a man named President Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho, as played by the incomparable Terry Crews.
This is his single greatest role.
For sure. This role is made for him.
Yes.
Although I will argue he's great on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
He is, but
this
he's
is
playing a version of himself.
Bravado. It's just so President Camacho is a former professional wrestler, turned politician, turned president, who I believe is in his second term, maybe in the movie. I can't remember for sure. I think he's been reelected. So there are so many great lines. I'm not going to try to quote them. It'll ruin them when you see them. There's so many great sight gags with him. He is all bravado. He comes to a State of a Union, like shooting machine guns. He's wearing. He's got like this like straightened hair, and like he's got the Apollo Creed Rocky shorts on. Like He's jacked. He's loud. He's brash.
Yes, and we weren't describing this year's. But this is in the movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just, it is the cult of celebrity.
Yeah.
And Terry Crews owns it.
This movie, his character specifically, saying a lot about that. This movie's saying a lot about that, about the poison of commercialism, and and kind of what it's doing to us. Terry Crews is his character's a microcosm of that. That being said, now he is considered one of the worst presidents because the state of the country. Yeah,
the country's pretty bad.
Movie. It's in disrepair.
It is in disrepair.
The infrastructure is non-existent.
It is.
There's garbage avalanches that are so catastrophic they're taking out like city blocks because we have a garbage problem.
We got a garbage problem. What is the mass transportation? Are you going to Costco for that?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, but there's terrible infrastructure problems.
Sponsored by
everything's sponsored by 3 or 4 times.
Corporation. The country is seemingly controlled by a company called Brondo, which is a bit like Gatorade.
Yes.
And has replaced water in the movie.
Yes.
Which leads to the movie's central issue, and that is that they can't grow food anymore.
They can't grow food.
No agriculture.
Right, and it's really hard because Brondo is good for plants. It's what plants need.
It's got electrolytes. It's got what plants need.
Yes.
Which is kind of and they're basically spraying fields of plants with Gatorade.
Yes. And wondering why it won't grow.
Right. So he's the president during all of this and responsible for at least some of it, or at least complicit.
Yes.
Maybe not responsible for. That being said, I think if you're looking at the confines of this movie, okay, you're living in this version of the world of America.
Sure.
And you have to vote for a president. I think President Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho is a pretty fine choice. He comes across as one of the more intelligent people.
Sure. Yes. In this world, absolutely.
He is dim-witted, but not definitely not to the degree of some of the characters. He seems more like caught up in hubris.
Yes.
Yeah. Like he has a capacity, but he's just he's clearly some fairly savvy businessman, and he's made a successful political career. And you got to think he's going up against other people like him.
Sure.
So he seems to be the best choice of what we got. That being said, if you look at what happens in the movie, he's trustful of his cabinet. He puts he appoints people that he knows is going to do a good job. He appoints Luke Wilson's character, who's come from the past and is now the smartest man in the world. He recognizes smarts, recognizes intelligence, and puts him in charge of solving everything.
Sure.
Which is not, that the decision is like, solve everything. It's almost literally what he says to do. Just solve all our problems or we're going to kill you. Which is where it comes back to maybe some of his faults.
Maybe.
But he's got a strong presence. He's an imposing figure.
He is, for sure.
A lot of muscles. He's honest. In his State of the Union, not in words I'll repeat on our show, but he says that things are not in good shape. He's honest with his constituents.
It's very straightforward. He's not hiding anything.
No, he's not. And like I said, he knows when to ask for help.
Sure.
He knows that he's not the smartest man in the world. With a lot of other characters in this movie, they belittle Luke Wilson's character for being so smart. He doesn't. He sees it as, this is the guy we need. This is an opportunity.
Yes.
That's him at his best. At his worst, America's in shambles, and he condones televised murder.
I mean, it's a pretty stark contrast there.
Yeah. Those outweigh some of the pros. Reelectability? In that world, sure.
Absolutely. In that world, what other choice do you have?
Well, you can't. You got the lawyer, played by Dax Shepard, Frito Pendejo.
He's a lawyer?
Yeah. Yeah, remember, that's how he meets Luke Wilson. He's defending him.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He ends up flipping his case against his
the
own
one
client.
watching reality TV in his toilet chair who just got done baiting is all I'll say on that. You can watch the movie to figure that out. But
that cryptic phrase.
That guy.
Yeah. Well, his name, you know what Frito Pendejo means? Our Spanish-speaking listeners. I think it means fried a-hole. That's his name.
That is awesome.
Would I vote for President Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho? bet your butt I would.
No, what choice do you have?
Yeah, you bet
You'll
your
be
pendejo
dead.
I would.
You bet your pendejo.
Yeah, I think he's great. This is a great movie, and it's
Sure.
a great performance, and it's a lot
super
of fun.
You need to see it.
And Terry Crews is just knocking it out of the park and having a blast. He apparently at some point wanted to try and make a spin-off movie that's just about that. I say that gives you Cars 2 territory.
I agree.
We don't small doses. His character works. Whole
Yes.
movie, I don't know.
No, it's perfect in what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that has been
I feel
the
so American.
best and worst of American presidents.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess they are.
Yeah.
Fictional presidents.
Yes, movie presidents.
Fictional movie presidents.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for joining us today. As always, subscribe and rate and review us. Email us at bowopod@gmail.com. Hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. I'm going to go ahead and put this out into the world so that I can hold myself to it, all right?
Okay.
So you can find us, as always, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Play, on
Pocket Cast.
on the
BOWOpod.com.
website, bowopod.com. We're going to try to add, at the request of some, Stitcher
Okay.
to the list.
Stitcher. Hardly know her.
Yeah. So we're going to try to add Stitcher. It may take a week or so, but we're going to try to get it up for this, and you can start listening. For those of you that love to aggregate your podcast through Stitcher, you're welcome to find us there.
I love it. Very wordy way to say we're on Stitcher now.
You know,
It's honestly your verbosity is one of my favorite things about you.
I've been accused of tremendous verbosity in my life, and I'm not going to stand for this right now. Literally, I'm sitting.
And look at that. And then you corrected me without pointing it out. Thank you guys for listening to the band Amigo out of Charlotte, North Carolina. They're playing right now. Man, that's a great sax solo, isn't it?
It is.
They always provide our music. We appreciate their contribution. Thanks to Wes Forbus for our podcast artwork. And most of all, thank you guys for listening to Best of, Worst of, USA.
USA. Now get off my podcast. Once again, BOWO presents So-So Impression Theater. Thank you for meeting with us. I know screen testing is a bit beneath a man of your talents, but we felt it necessary after Bill Pullman frankly knocked it out of the park in the read-through. This scene is the emotional high point of the film. The president is rallying the nation, nay, the world, and uniting Earth against these malevolent extraterrestrial invaders. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Seinfeld.
We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.